What is going on today, everyone? We just had the best day in the stock market since 2008, a historic day in the stock market. And for at least 6 or 7 weeks, as investors, we've been saying, where is the good news? What happened to good news? Does good news exist? And today, finally, we had some good news, and that was that the tariffs are paused for 90 days, except and excluding China, and the markets soared to incredible highs. Quantum stocks were up across the board. Literally every ticker on my quantum watch list was up across the board. Super, super exciting to see. So we're going to cover the Qs, we're going to cover quantum, we're going to look at Nvidia's chart, and we're going to look at SoFi's chart, and we're going to do all this in 15 minutes because I know you guys got other shit to do. So if you haven't already, please consider liking or subscribing, and let's jump right in. All right, guys. So we're going to look at Tom Lee, what he said. He said this just a few weeks ago on CNBC. We're going to listen to it because it is making a whole lot more sense now. Let's take a look.
If you miss the best 10 days, you're going to diminish your returns insanely. Now, I always talk about the fact that over the past 20 years, if you miss the top 10 days, well, that means you diminish your returns by 50%. Tom Lee, as he usually does, went ahead deeper into data and went all the way back to 1928. And he basically said from 1928 until now, if you miss the top 10 days, you have diminished your annual average returns from +8 to -13. That is insane. Now,
that is not only insane, that is what happened today in the market. So everyone who has been extremely fearful and sold all of their positions and are like, I'm going to wait this out. I'm going to wait for safety. I'm going to wait for safety. I'm going to wait for safety. Well, look what happened when just the smallest amount of good news hit the airwaves. So let's take a look. So we have the S&P up by 9.5%. The Dow up by almost 3,000 points. These indices are up so much that the percent is off of the page on Yahoo Finance. The NASDAQ was up by 12.16% because we also got the good news today that Nvidia's chip restrictions are also being reduced to China. So we had good news on top of good news. The Russell was up by 8.66%. And what a wild, wild day. What a wild rally. So missing those 10 best days, this is why it's important to accumulate shares and be patient. It's for times like these. All right, guys. So now we're going to jump into the stock heat map. We're going to go into some charts and do some price analysis, and then also some predictions for the week. I've also updated my quantum 8, my top 8 quantum stocks. I'm going to share those as well, but probably in a different video. So for now, let's just jump into the heat map. And this is probably one of the most insane heat maps that you will ever see, maybe in your life. This is pretty crazy. So, okay, so these are completely normal numbers for just a Wednesday, April afternoon. Google up 10%, Microsoft 10%, Meta 15 freaking percent, Nvidia 18%. Nvidia has been brutalized for months or months. The market has been beating up on Nvidia, and Nvidia leading the rally. Kind of reminds me of the scene from Lord of the Rings where Gandalf comes over the hill and we have the light pouring in behind him, and then he goes and attacks the orcs. So that's Nvidia right there at the top of the hill. And okay, that's enough movie references. So what a crazy day in the market. And even Amazon, all the financials did well. This was just green across the board. Money came in from the sidelines, trillions poured back into the stock market with some good news about these tariffs being paused. All right. So now we're going to take a look at our quantum watch list. We're also going to talk about Nvidia and SoFi. But if you all are new to the channel, I cover quantum stocks in depth, and this is my watch list for quantum. So let's take a look. So leading the day was IonQ with a 24% increase, Coherent with a 23% increase, Rigetti 22, Intel jumped almost 20, QBTS ended with 16%, Seals Q 15, our quantum ETF, Defiance Q2UM 12%, Amazon 11. I still can't believe Amazon at 12%, QUBT at 10%, Microsoft 10, Google, and the list goes on, and everything's green. So see this intraday. So we had a little bit of a gap up here, and then the day was kind of flat. And then we have this announcement, and we had this crazy move out of Rigetti. We know Rigetti before this announcement was about $7.73. So just to show you how quickly things can change, let's measure this move. So from the bottom today, intraday, to the top of the move was a 22% increase on Rigetti. Pretty insane. Great to see for Rigetti. Now, let's jump over to SoFi, my favorite fintech banking app, stock, financial, all-in-one solution. I think they've got a big quarterly coming, and I think SoFi is way undervalued. So it was crazy to see a bank stock move up almost 20% today. When we go back to that heat map, a lot of these old school banks were moving up 5-6%. SoFi was quite suppressed on the price. So again, let's measure this move intraday from when we got this announcement from Trump. We saw a 23% increase. And we know earnings are coming up for SoFi as well. So if we look back at for 3 months at the chart here, we see that prior to the last earnings date, so I'm going to indicate where that is in TradingView, we saw that actually SoFi was trading at $18 a share. And we've had this really challenging macro condition with seemingly infinite bad news, and it's tumbled. And then today we had this crazy V-shaped recovery and spike, and SoFi is reporting earnings in just a couple weeks. So this could be certainly a strong start to a potential reversal for SoFi. So keep your eyes on SoFi. Still think it's a good buy, even at this point at around $11. And we could be in for a treat with quarterlies. All right, guys. So I've got the QQQ pulled up. So that this is basically all our big tech stocks in one ticker here. And it was insane to see what happened today over the course of just one day. So we know that yesterday, I didn't post because I was depressed because we started the day up 3%, and then the Qs ended down 3% for just another really rough day on the psyche. Then we opened today, and we're just kind of flat. And then suddenly we get the announcement of the 90-day pause on the tariffs. And you know what the great thing about this is? That we get